Hello and welcome to the Real Life Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so glad to be here. Remember, on this platform, we get to engage, interact, and learn from icons, gurus, trendsetters, trailblazers, difference makers, and of course, world changers. And this particular episode of Youth Focus, I'm so excited. I'm so honored because in my presence is a young lady that is not only shattering glass ceilings, she's actually breaking them. Okay, this is a young lady who is an award-winning innovator. She's an advocate for science and technology. She's an entrepreneur, and actually she's a talk show host like myself. So allow me to introduce to you Florence Mulenga. Florence, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Loretta. Thank you for having me.
I am so honored. Like, I'm so happy. I'm sure you can see from my face.
I'm equally happy.
It's such an honor to be in your presence.
It's an honor to be here as well.
So Florence, just so we get to know you, I know you and I have interacted a number of times, but for the people that are watching, who is Florence Mulenga? Who are you? Where do you come from? What do you do? Are you a student? Maybe are you a bank CEO? You know.
Well, amen to that. Okay, I do get your question. My name's Florence Jedidiah Mulenga. Jedidiah and Mumba I gave myself.
Okay, that's interesting.
My real names are just Florence Mulenga, but yeah, I love Jedidiah and Mumba. And I'm a student at the University of Zambia. I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree in pharmacy. And I'm also a programs officer at the Zambia National STEM Foundation, which is a foundation that promotes science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Well, yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so you are a pharmacy student.
Yes.
Where?
At the University of Zambia.
Okay, so I do know you are quite involved in quite a number of things. I've read about you. The first time I read about you, I was just like, oh my God, this young lady is actually kind of younger than me, but like she's doing amazing things. And like when I was your age, I wasn't even doing the things that you're doing. So now I'm really prompted to ask, how do you strike a balance between what you do and school? Because I understand Ridgeway campus and pharmacy, to be specific, and just that particular setup is quite busy.
Yeah.
So how do you strike a balance, school and the advocacy that you do and all this?
Okay, that's a good question. Initially, what I do before I started doing what I do, it was really stressful and overwhelming, and it started getting to me. I started feeling like eaten up with the stress and everything. But then I realized that time management is something that we overlook. We could go for seminars, people would talk to us about it, but we just never put it into practice. So I decided to actually put it into practice by actually always planning my day. I plan my week, my month, my day, and if anything comes up, I just add it to the calendar. And just making schedules has really worked out for me, because I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing at each particular hour. So like for today's interview, I knew that at this hour I'm supposed to be at this interview, and it really works out for me because, you know, at my level right now, you can't afford to hire like a personal assistant to do everything for you. But right now where I am, I can improvise with what I have, which is a book and a pen, and just schedule my day, and it really works out for me.
Amazing. I actually like that. I mean, it's something that has actually worked for me as well. I literally just have to wake up at 4 and just say, okay, at this particular hour, I'm going to do this. So I think it's something that works. Now, Florence, I know you conceptualized an anti-asthma body spray that prevents asthmatic patients from having asthmatic attacks while using this body spray as a daily deodorant. How did you come up with this innovation? Like, what were you thinking about to actually even just come, like, how did you conceptualize it? Is it something that you probably watched on TV and say, okay, I want to try that as well? How did that happen?
Okay, so the thing is, when I went to the University of Zambia, there was a point in time I was seated in class and we were like thousands. You know how the lecture theaters are? We were in thousands, and everybody in there just had a goal to have this academic grade, academic achievement. And I was like, what makes me different from everybody in class right now? Like, we all have the same dream, the same goal. And I don't think that's exciting because you're just all fighting for the same thing. How can I be different from everybody else? And I realized that being different, the difference that I want to be has to have impact. So I was like, whatever I'm going to do, it should have impact on people's lives. That was the plan, but I didn't know how.
Yeah.
So that I always tell people that start with the what you want, why you want it, and then later on, like, how things will work out for you. Like, they'll just work out, you know, because you already have a goal at heart. So when I decided that I want to have impact on people's lives, I decided to be deliberate about taking up opportunities. So when an opportunity would come, if I know that it's going to impact someone out there, I would take it up. So when an opportunity came there was this competition called Fem BioBiz. So Fem BioBiz was a competition where they were looking for students all across Zambia who could incorporate science into entrepreneurship. So it's like you're combining science and entrepreneurship. So they were looking for ideas in which you can combine a science project and make money out of it, you know. So I was like, oh, this is a really great opportunity, right? And then the person who was talking about the competition talked about, no, when you win, you get to travel and stuff. I was like, this is exciting. I would definitely love to travel. So I decided to actually sign up for it. But before you sign up, you have to have the scientific proposal, scientific research at hand. So I was like, but how am I going to do this, you know? Like, I've never really sat down to actually think, okay, let's design some cures or some, let's conceptualize some medicines. No, I've never really sat down to think about it. I know when I was young, I used to say, I'm going to cure cancer, I'm going to cure that. But I didn't know that it's something that actually became a part of me. So as time went by, before the deadline for the competition, I approached the girl who won the previous competition. I approached her, and this is why mentorship is important. We'll talk about that later. So I approached her and I told her, you know what, I really want to be a part of this, but I have no idea. Can you help me out with ideas? Then she told me that if I help you with an idea, then you won't feel like it's coming from you. The best I can do is you present to me the idea, then I tell you if it's good or bad. So I started doing my research. I would go to her, okay, what do you think about this? And then she'd be like, no, this can't work. The patient is going to die. So I had to think of other things. I just used to bother her like that. Up to now, like, Godfrey, I'm so grateful for your time. You are just really amazing. So when I finally sat down, I was like, okay, fine. What affects me or what affects the people around me? And I noticed that asthma was something that was affecting my friends and my family members. And I was like, okay, let me think in these lines. So I did sit down, pray about it, and researched more. And when I researched more, I was like, wait, the inhalers that we use, they target your receptors in your respiratory system. You just need to inhale them. So why not come up with something that you're constantly inhaling? You know, you constantly inhale your perfume to the point that you even stop smelling it because your system has just become used to it. So if you could have something medicinal that's constantly targeting your receptors, then it will create a stability in the lungs. So if the lungs are constantly stable, no matter what you encounter in the environment, you won't go into an asthmatic attack, because an asthmatic attack comes about when when your lungs start constricting. So I started thinking in those lines. I was like, oh, fine, let me apply with this proposal. And when I applied, our applications were sent to South Africa. Hundreds of people had applied, and I was accepted amongst 25 people.
Wow. And this innovation, actually, you were victorious amongst the 15 people that competed in the country.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I said 25. I meant 15. So what happened was we went for phase 1. So they were cutting us off. It was phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And then they said that the people that will win phase 1 will go and compete at the Zambia Entrepreneurship Summit. Not that the competition is done, but we're just taking you to another competition, then you come back. So that's how we did the competition of phase 1. I was so scared. I had never done it before. You're supposed to present your idea in 3 minutes. Like, that's a lot of things to explain in 3 minutes. First of all, I'm talking about the business aspect of the asthma spray, and I'm also talking about the scientific aspect. And you're in front of judges who have PhDs, so they'll know if this can work and this can't work. So that was a lot of pressure. But So when I was presenting, I didn't even finish presenting
Wow.
because time was up.
Yeah.
I was like, but anyway, it's fine. Just phase one.
Yeah.
And then phase one, they were cutting off about 10 people. They only wanted 5 people to go to the next phase. And apparently, they really liked the idea by the grace of God, and they understood how the concept works and how it would benefit society. And I won phase one. So that's how they made me go to the Zambia Entrepreneurship Summit. Then I won there as well. Yes. And I remember one of the organizers telling me, oh, I just checked the moment they announced the results. He was like, you know, when you check the judges' scores, you had like one of the highest scores I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I was like, what, for real? So like I won the Zambia Entrepreneurship Summit, then went back to Fem BioBiz, then I won Fem BioBiz, and then we went to, we were sponsored to go to ASA to go watch what other women are doing in Africa.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, Florence, I'm listening to you and I'm just like, oh my God. I might probably just sitting next to the next Einstein, you know, like thinking about the innovation and just how you are actually being a solution to something that I consider a challenge to many people. I know quite a number of people that are asthmatic, and it's quite difficult to actually even relate with them because now you're wearing very strong cologne and the next minute you're thinking, what if this person falls in my hands? So I think that's an amazing concept that you came up with. Now, in 2020, you received the Pharmaceutical Society of Zambia Award as the Pharmaceutical Innovator, making you the first Zambian student to actually be recognized. How did that make you feel?
That made me feel great. You know, with the many awards that I've gotten, someone would ask me which one has been your greatest achievement so far, and I would say it's the one from the Pharmaceutical Society of Zambia, because to me it simply meant that pharmacists in Zambia are actually recognizing that this is something that could work and this is something that will have impact on people's lives. And it also meant that people will be inspired, my fellow students will be inspired to actually bring out whatever innovation they have. You know, they shouldn't be scared. They shouldn't be afraid to fail. Like, they should just keep trying, because I've failed a number of times before in my life, but the fact that I kept pushing and students out there kept seeing that this girl, she's failed before, she's pushed, and it's actually now working out, so I shouldn't be afraid. So for me, it meant that I'm actually inspiring people out there to bring their innovations and make Zambia a better place. So for me, it really carried a lot of value. Yeah. And of course, the money that came with it was good.
The money is always also a great motivator. I agree. So now, I know I've met you, we've interacted at a number of platforms where we get to be, I don't know, one way or the other, we're always in the same space.
Yeah.
So now, how do you spot these opportunities? You know, like, I've seen you in many great platforms. Now, how do you get to spot those opportunities and actually leverage on them to make an impact in society?
Okay, that's a very good question. It just comes down to one thing. I'm very deliberate on what I follow on social media, like my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook. I follow people who I know are going to contribute to my path. How can I put it? For example, you know Dr. Justina Mutale? Like, she's someone who's achieved great things, like really great things. Like, this woman is very powerful. I follow her page because I know one way or another, just even one post from her is either going to inspire me or it's going to lead me to the next big thing or the next opportunity. And also, following pages that actually offer opportunities. You know, you find that there's this whole page where they just post opportunities, and for me, I'm up for that. I don't want to go on social media and just waste my time laughing at memes and whatnot. That won't do anything for me.
That's true.
Of course, I do see memes. Like, I even share memes myself. Like, yeah, that's exciting. But you don't want to be on Facebook the whole day and not actually benefit positively from it. That's where now you find people saying, social media is fake. It's what? It's because you're not going there for the right reason. Social media is one of the most powerful assets that we have right now. But if you use it negatively, it will work negatively for you. If you use it positively, it will work positively for you. So for me, I've decided to follow the positive aspect. Yeah.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Now, in the next 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? what plans do you have for yourself? Maybe you want to start the Florence Mulenga Foundation for asthmatic people. Where do you see yourself?
For me, one thing I have noticed ever since I started this journey of following opportunities and grabbing opportunities, I realized that we have great potential in Zambia. There are a lot of people with great ideas. They just don't have the platform and they don't have the money just to progress. So for me, I would definitely, I don't know if it's going to happen in the next 5 years, but I hope, I want to get to a point where I am that person who provides the platforms for them, who provides the money for them to go about their ideas, their innovation, you know, bring it out to life. Because you find that we are sitting on money. As a country, we are definitely sitting on money. You find somebody has developed an app, but it's not running because they just don't know what to do, where to go next. So if there was a platform for them to grow their idea, there was a platform for them to be funded for their idea, I think that would be really awesome. We would develop as a country. So for me, I'm very passionate about innovation, and I would like to be someone who invests in such potential. And of course, I would definitely love to be with WHO.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So. Now, obviously, even as you are doing all this STEM advocacy, as you're running about with the spray and all, you've obviously encountered challenges, even challenges related to school. What would you say are some of these prominent challenges, and what are some of the solutions that you've found to mitigate these challenges?
Okay, so I think one of the challenges would be, let me think. Of course, they are there. Like, they are there. Not that I have to actually think about them. They are there, but like, I just want to put them in order. I think one of the greatest challenge has been people thinking that the people I'm associated with, I can just easily like link them up. I don't know if you understand what I mean. If today you saw me with the president, right? The next thing I get is messages, no, connect me to the president. And then like, I just met the man. I just met him. So like, how do I even say, okay, this person wants to be connected to you? Like, people don't understand that if you want connections, networking and stuff like that, there's something you also have to bring to the table. What are you bringing to the table, you know? I won't just wake up and just start connecting you to the president. Then I tell him what? Oh, Loretta just wants to know you. He's a busy man. So I found it a challenge because people start to think that maybe you're selfish because you have so many networks, so many connections, but then you're not linking people and stuff. It's not selfishness, it's just that it's difficult to just bring up someone and say, okay, there's this person, then what? Unless if you have something to offer, like you have this big idea and stuff like that, then I'm like, oh, there's this guy who has this big idea. So it's very difficult, and it hurts that people get to see you selfish in that manner when you actually not, because you're actually looking out for people. You want people to actually progress, but then you just can't easily just do that. And also another challenge would be people are thinking that how can I put it? People are thinking that I just woke up and started doing these things. People don't realize that I had to push a lot. I had to fight. Like, there are so many things I've had to go through. So people just think that you're just gonna wake up and you're just going to become this great big thing. Yeah. So like, I think that's a challenge, because when you're telling your story, it's hard to mention all the challenges and whatnot. So
people think it's just all glitter.
Yes, exactly. So I wouldn't want people to think like that. I want people to actually put in hard work and get to where they are. Okay, I think the challenges, let me just keep thinking.
and I think that brings me to my next question. Why is it important for young people especially to actually just step up and show up for things? Because I feel like young people these days, we kind of have an entitlement mindset. We feel like we're so entitled to everything. But why is it important to actually work hard and show up?
Yeah, I think that's even one of the reasons why it's difficult for even the new government to put like young people in certain positions of power, simply because we feel entitled. We feel that, oh, I'm young, there's this whole government that has come into place, I'm supposed to be in that position. But it doesn't work like that. You need to work for the position. We were recently discussing with a friend of mine about how girls and women, we want to be given those titles, but are you competent to carry the job? A job should not be given to you just because you're young or you're female. It should be given to you because you're competent to work for it. So I feel it's very important for people to work hard, put in the work, and then the way hard work is, when you work hard, people will follow you. You don't need to start following people now. People will start following you because you've been putting in the hard work on your own. Even when you're approaching an investor for a business idea, they'll tell you, what do you have to bring to the table? You can't just tell me that, oh no, I want to start selling charcoal. Then what? Like what hard work have you put into the business? I can't just invest into something that I haven't seen even the owner of the business, doing. Like, you haven't progressed in any way yourself. So I once read in Mzingamelu's book, where Braving the Odds, she talked about how she learned at a young age that you should learn to use whatever you have at that particular moment. So as young people, we should not be waiting and seated and saying, no, my life will change because now things are new, we're in a new era, things are going to start coming to me, the dollar has gone down, so things will be easy. No, you need to work with what you have. If you have a business idea, start finding ways to make it grow, and then people will be attracted to that, and not you just looking for investors but you haven't even developed your idea yet. So something like that.
I think it's for me, it's really refreshing to actually sit with a young lady and like you have so much to say, and I'm like, oh my god, this makes so much sense, because like these are conversations I actually have with my roommates, especially when you talk about females and being in places of leadership or in positions of power, and we just feel like just because by virtue of me being a female woman, I should be given a certain position. So it's like really relatable, and I'm just like, wow, she's thinking what I think. Now, Florence, I know I've watched I follow you keenly on social media, and I know you've spoken at a number of powerful platforms, and when I mean powerful, I'm not just talking about our local media houses and all that. You have actually had the opportunity to speak at the United Nations Conference on the Status of Women and many other conferences of such nature. How did you find yourself on such forums? Like, I watch these things on BBC and I'm like, okay, so there's actually a young lady that is even speaking on such platforms, and this is someone who's actually coming in the community where I come from. So now, how do you find yourself in such forums?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, and I'm glad you brought it up, because initially people think that no, it's because of that time when she won that competition. I think that's why she's being given opportunities to speak, but that's not really the case. That's not the full story towards it. As I told you, I'm one person who's always like pushing and chasing these opportunities and stuff. So what happened was, I'll give an example. Okay, first of all, I talked about the people that you follow on social media. So for me, like I say that I follow people that are going to post opportunities, or maybe people that are going to empower you and inspire you. So I had followed Dr. Justina Mtali when I heard about her, right? And then she posted this opportunity. She was like, she's looking for young girls to speak on a global platform, and you just need to send a short video just want to see if you're competent enough to actually do it. And as one person who seeks opportunities and who wants to have an impact on society, I was like, let me try. I actually sent the video via email. In fact, I first applied, you first apply, and then if they like your application, then you send a video. So I passed the application, then they told me to send a video. I sent a video. They're like, no, we really like how you're speaking, so we would like to represent young girls on the International Girls' Day, something like that.
International Day of the Girl Child.
Yeah, exactly, the one that was declared by the UN. So I was like, oh, okay, thank you so much. But I didn't know how big of a deal it was until I saw the people that were speaking on the panel, and there were people like the Vice President of Liberia, the first female President of Kosovo, first female President of Mauritius. There's just so many influential people speak. Queen Sheba.
Wow.
So there were so many influential people speaking on that platform, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I sign up for? You know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, anyway, Lord, we got into it. Let's go. You know, I'm ready for whatever you put me up for. And I got that opportunity and I presented myself for, and that's the thing about opportunities. When you grab an opportunity, work hard towards it. Like, make sure you do your best, because the next opportunity depends on how best you work.
Do it like there's not going to be any other opportunity.
You know, and the Bible says every work that you work on, you have to work as though you're working for the Lord, and you wouldn't want to mess up if you're working for God. So yeah, I put in my best, I put in effort, dressed up, whatever, and Dr. Justina really, really liked how I presented myself, and her foundation liked how I presented myself. Next thing you know, they were inviting me for another opportunity, and this time around it was to speak at the United Nations conference on the Commission on the Status of Women. I was supposed to talk about how I was supposed to represent young people, young girls, like their struggles and what solutions I think can actually work out for them. And it was supposed to take place in New York. This is what hurts me. It was supposed to take place in New York, but because
then
of
COVID
it had to be virtual. But I'm still grateful for that opportunity. Like, you know, even virtual events are really good.
They still do have actually an impact.
You know, because now they'll actually be more global than
audience. Yeah.
So that's how we spoke. We represented. They liked how I spoke. They even told me, okay, you should do an article for Now. Now is like an international organization in the UK. So they're like, okay, can you write an article to talk about the whole event and stuff? Like, it was just really amazing. So in short, it's not that I was privileged to I was given the opportunity that here's the opportunity to speak. I looked for it, searched for it, fought hard for it, and, you know, took it and worked hard towards it.
Amazing. I think it just reminds me that it doesn't matter the color of your skin, doesn't matter where you come from. It's not about who you know really, but it's also about the input that you put in and just showing up and letting opportunities also come to you like that. Now, obviously, Dr. Justina Mutale is someone that I look up to, and I'm going to assume that she's one of your role models. But aside her, do you have any other role models, and why are they your role models?
Okay, that's a very good question. It's kind of difficult for me to point out my role models, because different people inspire me in different spaces of life. So first of all, when it just comes to just like life in general, definitely my mom, because this woman is so hardworking. Like, I don't even understand. She's so hardworking. She just like works so hard just for everybody to have something and go to school and stuff like that. So for me, like, that's very inspiring. And she wake up early, come back late, and she's just doing it just for your sake, you know. She would rather go hungry than you guys go hungry. So for me, that's really, really inspiring. And she has a heart for people. And then when it comes to having global impact, it would be, of course, Dr. Justina Mutale. This is one person who's worked with Commonwealth. She's worked for big organizations, and she's just created such an impact on society. She's sponsoring young girls to school and all those things. She's found in spaces where they literally say she dines with kings and queens, and that's not even exaggerated. And she's had impact on so many people. And she actually won African Woman of the Year in 2012. Yes, she's very, very inspiring. When it comes to spiritual life, definitely my pastor. Very amazing. Like, he's one of the major reasons that I am what I am today, because of his sermons. You know, his sermons is very deliberate about what he preaches about. He talks a lot about dominating these spaces of life, because if us as Christians are seated here and decisions are being made out there by other people, you find that your views are oppressed. So you also need to be here to also contribute to you know, to the system. You know, you need to also help make decisions. So yeah, my pastor really inspires me when it comes to spiritual life. So yeah, if I'll have to go on and on about my list. It's a very long list.
I was hoping the next person would be me, actually. On the list.
Loretta.
Okay, now Florence.
Oh, and Oprah Winfrey. Yeah.
Nice. I love Oprah. So now, obviously, there's young girls young women that are watching you, they've probably read about you, watched you on TV and all. What would you tell a young girl that's watching you today? What advice would you give them in terms of leadership, in terms of just stepping up, doing their best, and challenging themselves to be better people?
Okay. For the young girls watching this, as I mentioned earlier, you're not entitled to certain positions. You're not entitled to be the next CEO just because you are female. You need to put in the work. You need to show the world that you actually deserve that position. We don't want a situation whereby you put someone in a certain position just because they're a girl and then they fail to carry out that job, and then now people start saying women can't manage this. We want you to be there because you're competent and you're hardworking. So go out there, grab those opportunities, follow the right people, and seek advice from the right people. If you need mentors, get mentors, and just grab those opportunities, and don't be afraid to say, oh, I'm female and this opportunity, there are just guys everywhere. No, don't be afraid. Like, yeah, you're literally, you have a soul. A soul has no gender, you know, like your soul has no gender. Your mind has no gender. You know, whatever a man can accomplish, you can also accomplish. But then the difficulty comes in when you feel entitled. So go out there, grab those opportunities, and do not be afraid in whatever space you find yourself in. And also, you don't have to be a genius to be creative. As I say, even a spoon was innovation itself, and the whole world is using spoons. So anything that will make the world a better place, go ahead and do it. And also, having impact on people's lives doesn't mean that you should go out now and have impact on 7 billion or 8 billion people. No, it means that even the person next to you should benefit from what you have to say. If you have to put a smile on someone's face, that is impact. Go and spread impact everywhere you go. Be sunshine everywhere you go, you know. Add positivity into people's lives.
Wow, that's such an amazing and very powerful close. I think I don't want to dilute that. I really don't want to dilute that, but I think the message is very, very clear. And young ladies, I think this also actually applies to the men as well. You've heard it, you have to work hard, you need to step up, and don't let anyone limit you. I think it starts with the mind. Have a mindset shift. Tell yourself you can do it. And just like Florence Mulenga has actually done it, you too can do it and be the next big thing. Remember, you don't have to create impact in Los Angeles, even from where you're coming from, in Kalingalinga, in Mississippi, or wherever you're coming from and you're watching us from. You can actually create impact in that community. So this has been Youth Focus, and I am Loretta. I was joined by Florence Mulenga, and catch us next time on the same show, same time, same place.